Sherry. We love to come here and you always create something fun for us. And we're going to do pumpkins today.
We are, yes. So I thought it would be fun just to talk about using pumpkins inside and out. There are so many different colors to choose from. So it's something to really think about because pumpkins last a long time. They will last into November and beyond.
Yes.
So they'll definitely get you to Thanksgiving. So it's something to think about that, the oranges are nice for Halloween, but it does kind of seem more Halloween-like with the deep oranges.
Right.
So there are lots of colors, like these silver stripes are beautiful and they're just the green and white. So still kind of harvesty, but it doesn't have to be so bright and orange. There's some beautiful striped like this. Blancos, these are called.
Those
They're
are
little white
gorgeous.
pumpkins. These are called black cats. I really like those. I just think it's so unusual and it looks so pretty with the other whites and greens. So it really is just like decorating and using anything else.
Oh, it's so much fun. Now, why don't you go through some of the ideas that you have here for us? What to do with some of the pumpkins?
Oh, sure. Well, my favorite thing to do is the stacking. It just makes such an interesting effect. It, of course, gives you some height. And you can use pumpkins that don't have a stem. And they make great stacking pumpkins, you can see. Now, we also trim the stems when we stack them also, which we'll do in a minute. The pumpkin at the top of the stack, we like to have a nice stem on that because it kind of represents the stack.
Yeah.
It's kind of the cherry on top. So this is just a little mini stack, which I always like to show because it's nice for inside.
Absolutely.
The bigger stacks are great, of course, mostly for outside, but if you have a place to put a big stack inside, it does make a big impact.
It sure does. What about some of these? I love the simplicity of these ideas, and they look so good.
Sure.
Talk about some of these.
Yeah, sure. Well, these are just candle rings. These are, of course, little faux decorations for fall. And so really we're just placing the pumpkins on those. You can use any type of little pot. This is a little face pot.
I love this.
So face pots are very popular right now.
And the moss looks like hair.
Yes, so really that's it. It's just a little bit of Spanish moss, which is used a lot for, for crafting. Most people are familiar with that.
Yes.
And this is the green colored version.
I love this one that looks so elegant.
Oh, this?
Sitting in that,
Yeah, it kind of is sitting like almost on this crown. And really this piece isn't even something you might not have thought to set something on it.
Right.
So, if you have like a candle holder for pillar candles, those work really well. Anything at all, like a small, little urn like this, it really looks so nice. And it is that simple.
It looks terrific, and like you said, that'll take you all the way through Thanksgiving.
Exactly. This is really harvest-like, so it does not necessarily have to go away after Halloween. Really, there's a lot more season left for your pumpkins beyond Halloween.
I love that scenario that you have set up with the muted tones. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah. So again, with the colors, really when you see all these colors of pumpkins, or you go someplace and you see all these varieties, like you see the pinks with the white pumpkins and then the black pumpkins, it really gives a whole different feel, but it still feels fall-like.
Now you have a really nice idea outside with the tables.
Oh, sure. Well, using pumpkins as a tablescape is very, very easy. We arrange with other little seed pods. You can even use acorns. You can use any type of natural materials. If you have a piece of driftwood, putting that right down the center to give yourself a little base, and using the smaller pumpkins are kind of easy to arrange in little groups. So they work well for tablescapes.
So let's see how we put these stackables together.
Sure. Well, I'm going to start with this big, wide, we call these Cinderella pumpkins. Now, one thing that we have prepared is, this is, of course, just a pot we had outside with annuals in. So I've just cut that back, and it's nice because the soil has that level right at the top of the pot.
Yeah.
So now we can stack pumpkins on it.
I love it.
So I'm starting with this big Cinderella. And I did kind of use my arm and measure. My husband laughs when I say that. Just to see that, before you're coming for pumpkins, it would be a good idea to measure across the top of your pot. You want it to look in proportion to the size of your container. Now, I am going to cut this stem off because I know I'm stacking these guys. It's not always necessary, but sometimes, of course, you need to cut the stem because they really stick up. So I'm going to put this blue one on next, I think. And now stacking pumpkins, a lot of people ask us and think that there's something going up through them, that they're on some type of rod.
Like a dowel or something.
Right. It really is just kind of like a puzzle, like you were saying. So you have to find pumpkins that do fit together. Sometimes they look like they might work and they might be bumped out on the underneath. So you just want to stack them before you take them home and thinking you're stacking them. So if you're picking pumpkins out, I would say stack them first. And I did put these guys together, of course, to see how they worked, and I think it's going to be fine. But see how I'm turning it?
Yes.
You know, sometimes I get it set, and you want to think about where you're viewing it from. You know, there might be a side that where it was laying on the ground, the color's not quite what you want.
Gotcha.
But really, it is just very, very simple.
Well, that's
Let me
a unique
see here.
pumpkin.
Isn't this neat? They call this an Englisher. It has such a cool shape. It almost looks like a flower.
It does.
So,
it does.
And then this is a Vorty one, which I really like. And he sits on here kind of funny, but it does work. So I always, like, you want to make sure, I kind of smack him around a little bit. See, so he's a little teetery.
Yeah.
That's kind of my test, is just to see that, you know, is this safe to stack and leave it? Okay, so I have this Spanish moss here, which we used before, and most people are familiar with. I'm just going to tuck it in at the edge. Now, in this case, you can't see a lot of the edge of the pot, but sometimes you might have, your pumpkin might be a little shorter than the edges, and so it does help to hide those edges.
Yeah.
But it also looks really pretty.
It does. It's such a nice finished look, too.
Yeah, it does. It does really help to finish it. We like to kind of just stretch this out across, and then I'm just pushing with my fingers right into the edges here. And I like that it kind of just trails down a little bit. And it does last outside. Of course, the Spanish moss has been colored, but it lasts for the season, no problem.
Now, Sherry, are these pumpkins okay if we get a frost?
Oh yes, absolutely. You know, they will last outside, no problem. You know, they'll be happy inside or outside. Now, if you have a pumpkin that has a center to it that really might allow a lot of water to sit in it. So say if you had this pumpkin displayed outside and there's water just sitting at the center, it's a good idea to just use a cloth and just get the water out of there.
Right.
Just so it's not sitting on top of it. But as far as it being out in the cold or out in the frost, that's really not to worry. It will last fine. And it's a very simple project. The kids really love this. Then also you can have a painted face pumpkin like you saw out at the pumpkin walk. We do that too, and you might just have one that has a face on it within the stack.
I love it.
So yeah, I really enjoy doing it. And we sell stacks that are already stacked that people can just purchase.
Or you
but
can
it
pick
is
your
fun.
own.
Yes, you can pick your own and build your own. I definitely encourage that. It's kind of a little Zen moment putting it together.
Yeah, and you have all that stuff here, so if people did want to stop by and pick their pumpkins out, you have everything. All of this
Yes,
here.
all the different pumpkins. We have bags of the moss for you. It doesn't take much moss to finish off your stack if you want to do it that way. Yeah, so everything is here to make little fall festive scapes.
Sherry, this has been such great fun. We always have a good time visiting Creekside Gardens. Why don't you tell everybody where you're located and when the pumpkin walk is open?
Oh, sure. Well, we're in Tunkhannock. We sit on Route 29, just 2 miles south of Tunkhannock. And the pumpkin walk is open Wednesdays through Sundays from 10 to 4 through October 30th.
Excellent. And you also have social media because you have different events going on all the time.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we're always posting there and active there on Facebook and Instagram.
Great. Thanks again, Sherry.
Sure. Thanks for coming, Jackie.
You're welcome.